welcome to Scrappin with Sheri. So this is virtual crop sketch number 3 from January 2025, and I'm excited to show it to you today. I've already done it using this paper pack with other papers, so I'll take a picture of that and post it as well. But I wanted to show you how you actually get the look on this. Now, one thing I'm not sure I've ever told you is when you purchase some of the newer paper packs, now Creative Memories has been doing this for a couple of years, but it shows the coordinating cardstock at the top of that paper pack. And these are the colors in Creative Memories line that they recommend that you put with these papers. Do you have to use those colors? Absolutely not. But this takes out a lot of the guesswork for you when you're trying to decide what you might want to use for mats or for borders or just for some extra cardstock colors. So pay attention to those. Now, I've been doing a lot of pages using this Noteworthy Days. I love the colors. I love the patterns in it. And I'm about to the end of what I've got left. And you'll see here that this piece actually has a chunk out of it, but we're going to make it work anyway. So I'm using these two pieces of brown as my background. It's a teal color on the back that I really like, but that's not a color I use a whole lot. And I felt like the blues and browns would work more with the pictures I typically use. Now, I did discover that you can use one sheet of paper to do all of this triangle and the two borders along the bottom. This was a scrap I had left, and it's going to be just a hair small. So we're going to make these two bottom borders just a little bit smaller than it calls for. And then I'm going to be doing borders and mats with this blue. So I'm going to hang on to this for a minute and go ahead and do my cutting for my triangles. Now, some people had a really hard time figuring out how to make these triangles work. And to me, I kind of read the directions here and it made a lot of sense. So if you are one that's having trouble with that, I want to talk you through it a minute. So on this part, it's a 12 by 4 inch, and we're going to cut from the corner to the 2 inch mark on the opposite short side. So first off, we need a 4 inch rectangle. And then over here, we're going to have a 12 by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and cut both of those. And this 12 by 2 is really easy because all you're going to do on this is cut from this bottom side to the top side on that end. And we want that particular angle because we want it to go up the side of that other page. So be sure that the bottom edge is on the cutting mark towards your right side, and the top edge is the left side of the paper. Otherwise, you're going to get your angle backwards. And we just cut corner to corner. Now, I did discover that the leftover triangles are not useful, unfortunately, but I'm sure I'll come up with some page idea where I will use those. Now, this one is a little bit different. You've got to mark this one before you cut it. And if you'll take your ruler, what you're doing is you're just marking it 2 inches down. This is a 4 inch. Let me put this over on a sheet of paper so you can see it more clearly. This is a 4 inch width here. And we're just going to mark that 2 inches in. Now, if you're looking at the measurements on my ruler, you're going to see that it doesn't look right. I'm marking it at 4, but it's actually a 2 inch. I've got 2 inches here. I've got 2 inches here. So I've made my mark there. And when we cut this one, we are cutting from the right side on the bottom to that 2 inch mark at the top. I'm going to try to slide this down to get it on there as closely as possible. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm not cutting right to the edge on this. It's kind of messing up a little because of where my cut line is in relation to where the blade's actually cutting. That's going to be okay because we're going to cover it up. Now, in looking at my sketch, I've got one more thing that I'm going to have to deal with, and that's these little bottom borders. And it tells me those are 1 3/4, but I don't have 1 3/4 left. I actually have about a little less than 2 3/4. So I'm just going to center this using my 0 centering ruler on here. And I'm looking at the measurements here, the measurements here, and I'm just lining this up until I get it right in between the measurements. And I'm just gonna half it. Now, how easy is that? It's easy if it's straight, right? Oh, perfect. So all of my main cutting is done for the design element. Let's go ahead and tape these down and see what we've got here. I'm going to start by taping the 2 borders on the bottom. Now, if you're somebody that it really bothers you if your stripes don't match up exactly, you're going to have to use a full sheet of paper on this, or you're not going to make those stripes match, most likely. That's not a big deal to me, but sometimes I get reasonably lucky, and look at that. This is not a 1 3/4 inch border, so my spacing will be a little bit different when I start putting my mats on here. And there again, that's okay with me. I just wanted to finish up this pack of noteworthy days, and this was a great way to do it. Now here I've got this big cutout, so I'm going to apply my tape straight on that. And that's really so I don't put a bunch of tape in the hole and mess that up. But don't worry, we can cover that up. Always a way to fix that. And use up my paper. And you can see right there that my triangle is not exactly perfect. Again, it's going to be okay. And I'm just going to hit the end of this with a little repo tape. Yeah, I didn't pull my mat out, so I'm going to have sticky right there. Yeah, my that is not lined up very well at all, but we can make it work. You ought to know the one I did without video and it turned out perfectly. So the next thing we're going to do is grab our border maker system. Now, if you know me at all, you know I love the double Rick-Rite. Somebody had asked me not long ago if I had an extra one of those because Creative Memories sold out, and I'm really sorry, but I don't. It has been one of my favorites, but any border that punches off would be easy to use. And when I say punches off, I mean it comes loose from the paper. This one would, except this paper is just a hair too long, so it doesn't come all the way loose. But if this paper wasn't a hair too long, it would come loose. Now I'm using Creative Memories blue for this. And this collection has been really pretty with navy. It's been pretty with blues. It's been pretty with browns. It's just been good for a lot of different things. Now I should be finished with my border punch. I'm going to empty some of these scraps up. But if you were with me before when we did this little zigzag punch, we had to use a couple of these little pieces. When you're doing a diagonal, you need a little bit of extra. And fortunately, the punch confetti that comes off of this one provides exactly what you need for that diagonal. So I'm going to do the 2 borders on the bottom first. And I am going to pull out my mat for this. And my repositionable tape. The 2 on the bottom, to me, were super easy. Because all you got to do is line up an edge and go with it. And I just try to make sure that the bottom scallop lays right on the seam there between the 2 pieces of paper. Just provides such a good finished look there. Let's do one more on the opposite side, just like that. And again, I'm just making sure that the bottom edge of a scallop lines up right along the seams. And because this paper is a little long, I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming here. All right, so let's do our diagonal. And again, we've got the little glitchy there. We're going to fix it, so don't panic. And I'm going to go ahead and put that repo tape on this whole thing, even though I know part of it's going to go in that hole. And I do have a little tail right there, and then just needed to pull off. All right, and you can see there's still a little edge there, so we're just going to use some of this little punch confetti that was left over. And just line that up and finish it out. Doesn't take much. And then I'm going to take that piece and go ahead and start it on this other side. Now, one thing I want to look at, because I know I'm off a little bit. See, if I do that like that, I'm ending up with that not matching at all as far as my triangle is concerned. And I could do a couple of different things with that. One thing is just to take my scissors. Yeah, I know this is so not exactly how I would like to do this. But just even that up just a little bit right there. And then see if I can stick my border on it to make it evened out a little bit more. It's still off. I'm going to do a little bit more. I so wish I had videoed it the first time I made it. I guess it was beginner's luck. I had seen on Facebook where several people were saying they were having a hard time with this one, and I kept thinking, that one's not that hard, but I guess it is after you use up your beginner's luck. And then I'm going to add my tape to this. And just go ahead and finish that out. Is it perfect? No. Will anyone ever notice? Probably not. You can see that my punch is leaving some jaggedy edges here and there, but that's kind of what my embellishment's for. All right. So overall, we have a pretty nice look there. And I'm finished with all of these things. That doesn't match exactly right here, but when I put this in my album, there's going to be a little bit of separation because of the jeeping on the pages, that little extra lip on the pages, so I'm good with that. Now, let's go back and use our leftover paper and cut some mats. And most of the mats on this layout are 4x6, so I'm going to cut 2 4-inch strips here. And then I'm going to pull out my smaller photo trimmer because I think it just does a really good job at that 6-inch mark. And I'm going to cut this at 6 inches. And I'm just cutting both of these together to make the size a little more uniform. And I do know my paper is a hair long, so I'm going to check this and see if I want to trim it down or not. I just trimmed off just a tiny bit. Now, when I look at my sketch, it's showing me that there are 3, 4 4x6 mats, and then a 4x4 mat. Well, I don't even really want to start a whole new piece of paper. So for my 4x4, what I need to do is trim this off a little bit because it's a little bit wonky. Yeah, I'm going to trim it all the way down to there because I've got a little glitch. I'm going to cut 2 of these 4-inch pieces. And I'm just going to weld those together because guess what? What I have left over is right about 4 inches. Maybe not exactly. These are almost 2 inches wide. So that's going to be almost a 4x4. And I'm good with that. Now, according to my sketch, I'm going to be putting 2 of these sideways over here. One this way. One this way. And then my 4x4 here with some type of title up there. And I'm going to go ahead and stick these down. And I did notice on the other one I did that I had to bring them in towards the center a little bit. I had started this really, really close to the middle of the 2 pages. And then I ended up with lots of space on this side. So this time I'm kind of centering them more on each page. So those 2 are down. This one is down. I'm going a little bit lower here. I'm going to try to make my spacing about the same. And then for this one, I could weld it, but I could just stick it straight on the page, evening up the bottom with this other one I've got going on. And that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll butt that other one right up against it. And it shows right now, it's got a very definite line in it. But once I get a photo on that, you will never know that that's welded together. So my only other thing, besides the fact that I don't have photos for this page yet, is that I need a title block. So let me see what I can pull for a title. So one thing I found for our title is this journaling card. And it says, "This is our life together." I really like that, particularly since I've kept it pretty monochromatic with the browns and the blues. And I'm just going to trim this down a little to make it a little more square. Not going to be exactly a square, but I'm just kind of evening it up, spacing side to side. I do a lot of that with eyeballing. And I think, just to keep it cohesive with the rest of this layout, I'm going to mat that on a piece of our blue. And that will just make it look like all the photos. Now, if you remember, I have been printing my pictures in white mats. So, if I do that with this page as well, everything's just going to end up looking like it's double matted. And since I have my photo trimmer right here, I'm just going to cut this down real quick with scissors and then even it up in my photo trimmer. I could pull out my 12-inch trimmer and do that. I have a friend who would just use her scissors to cut all of her mats, and she was actually really good at it. I am not that good, I can guarantee you. Now, if I had any of my longer titles, I could have put a longer title here, but I don't. I've been using so many of them that I've just kind of run out. I don't have much left. So I'm finishing up with pieces and parts. But I really like this. Now, I've been real pleased with this paper and sticker pack. I've shown you lots of ideas with it. I do still have lots of stickers left. And the stickers cover so many different holidays, just events. I love the stickers. I'm really, really pleased with them. But currently, I don't know what this is going to be. This would be a great place for me to do some embellishment here. If we use this for a birthday, I could do that HBD right there. Anything that specifies what the event is would be really great right there. Let me see what I've got in these embellishments, because these are also really cute. I sometimes forget to use these well enough. And I am trying to keep it kind of in the same color scheme. I don't want to go just off the rails with the colors now, because we've kept it all so blue and brown. Look at that. That's kind of cute. I could make that overlap a little bit of everything and then put a circular sticker on there. We've got this cute gear that's not quite so heavy. I kind of like that. We've got the little Viewmaster wheel. I think for now, I'm going to go with that little gear right there, just because it looks good with our colors we've got going, until I decide what's going on this page. But I am going to pop it up with foam square, just because if the edge of my picture needs to go underneath, with it being raised just a little bit, I can easily slide photos underneath the edges of these. That's cute. All right. So that's the virtual crop sketch number 3 from January 2025. It is completed. And if you'll keep watching, I'd like to show you a little bit more in the organization category. So stay tuned, watch for some organization tips, and until I see you next time, happy scrapping. So let's talk about sticker organization for just a few minutes. When I initially get a new collection, my stickers stay in the package they come in, and I just file them right in the paper pack or in a Power Palette folder, Power Project folder, whatever they're called. I tend to keep them in that until I have exhausted most of the paper. But when I get to the end of the paper and I still have stickers left, like these, what do I do with those? Well, I got this idea from Lauren Hines. Lauren Hines does a lot of different things on organization, and she did a whole collection about what to do with your stickers. So I bought this binder. It's a leathery type binder, but I like the feel of it, the look of it, everything. I bought dividers, and I alphabetized A, B, and baby goes here. And I just went through and I made my little dividers for different, the different letters of the alphabet. Then I went through my sticker collection, and where I had things like this, like I've got the word smile, let's pop back to the letter S. And there's my letter S. And I've got smile strong. I just pulled the word smile off of here and stuck it in with the letter S. Now, these are sticker pages, and they look like this. They come 3-hole punch, and they're just, they're coated with something that helps them to stick. These were on Amazon. Unfortunately, the last several times I have looked, Amazon has been sold out of them, but you might try just Googling sticker pages, because the stickers are great on here, but when I get ready to use them, they pop right off for me to use. Now, another option for you that is not going to cost anything are the little sheets that your stickers come on, like these right here. If you save these, when you finished using up the stickers on it, you could have your own free little sticker sheets. You just pull off this extra backing that goes around all your stickers, and you could 3-hole punch these, or even stick them down in a paper protector if that bothers you. And you could have these to put your stickers on to organize them alphabetically. Now, I have found, for me personally, this makes me use my words so much more frequently. This word oh, let's go to together, because we're right there by the T's. It takes me a few minutes to do this, but usually by the time I get to this point, I have so few stickers on here that it's not a big deal. But I do love having all of my sticker words in the same spot. Now, I'm looking at this word summer days right here. In my sticker collection, I went ahead and made a seasonal tab, because sometimes there are just stickers that are very specific to a season, like summer days. I'm not going to use that on a winter page. So my summer days can go in my summer area, and I've got that to look at later. Sun-kissed, I could use that at different times, so I'm going to put that with S. Now, occasionally you have stickers that are, or you have embellishments. You have embellishment words that you want to use. These little dividers are like baseball card dividers, and I stuck a piece of white paper in between so I could put words on both sides. But I really like having these in there as well, because sometimes you need something a little bit larger, or you want something that doesn't lay flat. Of course, we've got our foam squares now, but here's a smile, here's a smile. I just put a smile over here. So I have options as far as colors go, and I can see those at a glance rather than going through 20 different collections or 10 different sticker packs to find what I'm looking for. Now, in this one, I do have a few embellishments that are seasonal that I stuck in here, but I kept thinking that there had to be more to this organization thing than what I was seeing. So I did make a separate notebook for some of the generic stuff. Like, I had lots of arrows. So I made a section for arrows and bows. And again, I did these alphabetically, and I did them based on what stickers I had. Now, this one is kind of a generic one for kids. And in going through some stickers the other day, I found this cute little castle that matches that. So I'm going to add that on there. Well, now I've got a free sticker sheet to add into my book. Obviously, these are baby and kids things. And I have not labeled all of my tabs in here. I just kind of have an idea of what I've got. These are all birds, bees, bugs, butterflies. This is growing stuff and flowers. Had lots of flowers, so this was a good place to put them. It also helps me at a glance to see the colors that I have. So I really like that. Hearts is a big one for me, and I actually found this whole sheet that's hearts, but I couldn't punch it without hitting a heart, so right now they're still on here. I didn't want to add another sticker sheet, but as I pare this down some, I will punch this out. But you can see the way I have organized these. This one was a whole collection that had foods and games, and so I just kind of put that in F and G for foods and games. Leaves I've got here. This pack is strictly scrapbooking stuff, and I have not added it in yet, but you can see I had another one of those castles. So one of them I added in the summer because it looked like a sand castle to me. I've got lots of summer sunshine embellishments. I've got stars. So things like this that I wanted a place to put, I added into this other notebook that is strictly designs rather than words. But I love organizing this way. It helps me be more productive with my work because, especially with words, when I can flip open this notebook and immediately go to the word that I need or something similar to it, it helps me to use what I've got and to make my pages really cute really fast. So I hope that helps you with sticker organization. Again, this was not my idea. This is strictly a Lauren Hines idea, and you can Google her if you want the details on this. I think she provides all the links for you to the different products when they are available. But this is a great resource and a great way to use the supplies you've got. So until I see you next time, happy scrapping.